of boxing. Introducing to you first on my right, the challenger fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing black trunks with white lettering and coming all the way from Sydney, Australia. His weight this evening is a ready 128 1/2 pounds, and his fine record is 25 wins, no losses, and 19 wins by way of knockout. He is currently ranked the #1 super featherweight contender by the WBC. Welcome, the three-time world champion, tonight making his debut on American soil, the undefeated Jeff Fenech. Fighting out of the red corner is the defending champion. He enters the ring wearing white trunks with red trim and hailing from Accra, Ghana. His weight is an even 130 pounds. His outstanding record includes 33 wins, only 2 losses, 25 wins by way of knockout. He is the 2-time world champion, tonight defending his WBC super featherweight title. Welcome the fighter known as the mighty warrior, Azumah Nelson.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want you to obey my commands at all times. I don't want any low punches. Watch your heads. Keep a clean fight. Shake hands. Good luck to both of you.
The Marrickville Mauler. That's the district of Sydney he comes from in the black. And really starting to let go with
Purnell Sweet Pea Whitaker, and basically that fight was a shutout. He then was disappointing in a fight in Australia against...
The thing that's affected Nelson is the death of his wife from cancer to know just how they've managed with this big hand problem. That's a good shot from Nelson there, that left. Fenech, every time he throws a punch it hurts him, and he cannot take painkillers, and here he really wants to go to war, and in this more cool, composed look about him. Bit wild, Fenech, and he's taken quite a few there to the head. He's a bit ring rusty, you know, as well. It goes the bell to end the fight. Certainly not as far as Fenech was concerned. It was just instant warfare as far as he was concerned.
I'm just surprised, Ian, that Nelson mixed it up so soon. I thought he'd come out boxing early on and then...
The troubled look on Fenech's face when he's fighting. He always looks as if he's in some kind of... Good body shots there from Nelson, and mixing it up too with an uppercut inside.
Azumah Nelson wastes. He's very economical fighter.
Of course, fighters do have this habit of trying to knock years off their age, particularly when they start getting older. I remember Marvin Hagler suddenly finding that birth certificate that said he was 2 years younger.
You know, a little harder to trace a birth record in Ghana.
Mooted often enough, it never happened.
It appears to me, Ian, that Nelson's been scoring well to the nose area of Jeff Fenech. Don't actually see blood, but the nose of Fenech appears...
To 7 in the evening, and the temperature, well, it must still be about 85 degrees. And Nelson, that's a good right from him there. Just buckled the legs of Fenech a bit. Now Fenech wanting to trade with him, but he was odds against to win this fight, Nelson, and when was the last time that must have happened? Well, against Purnell
Whitaker would be the last time, and those odds stood up quite fine.
That was when he moved up to lightweight, of course. Good right there from Fenech in that exchange.
The best punch that Fenech's landed, I can't tell. I think
Fenech tends to follow in his punches with the head as well. I know they were worried about that at the rules meeting in the Nelson camp. His head coming closer. This is a good burst now from Fenech. This is his best 20 or 30 seconds of the fight. He started with that right, which did shake Nelson up a bit. So is the tide just starting to turn a little bit here? Now Fenech is really starting to turn on that all aggression, all action style, and Nelson wants to get off those ropes, and quick. Third round, and Fenech staging a comeback after, we think, losing the first 2, but look at Nelson come back at him.
Referee Joe Cortez is letting them fight because they are fighting on the inside and with hands free.
Blood underneath the left eye of Fenech, and I think that may have been a clash of heads as well. It happened there as the heads were coming close together, and we'll have a look in the corner to see how serious that is. It looks fairly serious, quite a bad gash under the left eye. And now Nelson starting to counter quite well off those ropes. He took quite a few earlier in the round. The heads coming close together. Look at this, all-out attrition, and he is careless with the head, is Fenech, and he may have paid the penalty himself for the clash of heads. Blood very thick from underneath his left eye.
Excellent left uppercut in there by Nelson, zeroing in on the blood. Now Fenech comes back.
And Fenech now, he's had Nelson pinned there for fully 90 seconds. This is an extraordinary little episode in the fight. Fenech trying to unload, Nelson countering occasionally, but this really is one of the great little rounds in the super featherweight division of recent times.
They're boxing and fighting, slugging rather, in such a small territory. It's as though they were fighting inside a telephone booth.
Yes, it really is the old fight in a phone booth, this, isn't it? And that blood underneath the eyes. Nelson ends the... It's not our opinion that really matters, it's the opinion of the three judges, but we like to keep you up.
Of Nelson, he wants to brawl and then box, brawl and then box, mix up his attack. And Fenech's got him in the same place again, Ian.
Nelson, it surprises me. He seems quite happy to stay there and play the countering game on the ropes. But I'm not sure these are the best tactics for him. But
well, I would guess. I mean, it doesn't take. The cut. You watch him. He works with the elbows. He works with his head. He doesn't use only the gloves. He'll use any weapon he can.
Every fight for this Australian is like a street fight outside. Tough round to score, this one. Fenech has had Nelson on those ribs, and I think these American judges will score it for Fenech on the aggression. But look at this countering from Nelson, and now it's Fenech who's got to cover up. Now it's Fenech on the ropes. Back he comes with another volley. Well, we thought this might be a great fight, and it's turning out to be exactly that.
Another good right uppercut by Nelson. You know, the volume of punches. He's now Morty joined forces with Don King, so Fenech's here to get the gold.
And once again, the same scenario. Nelson on the ropes. Fenech trapping him there, trying to wing in with those hooks. Nelson countering.
They do love that one little corner of the ring, don't they? That neutral corner just above us. One of the few times referee Joe Cortez has had to sort them out.
Corner have done quite a good job on that cut underneath the eye of Fenech. It's more or less dried up for the moment anyway. And that's a good right from Fenech there.
And can't generate much power.
I think the better quality punching is coming from Fenech in this round. That was a good right from him. He got that one through. Nelson had the gloves up, thudded into the side of the face of Azumah Nelson.
At the risk of being repetitive, again, the pattern's been the same from the start. The volume of punches, you see them there, thrown by about 3 to 4 to 1. Just keeps moving ahead.
Well, he's almost on rails, isn't he?
He's
like a kind of pace. There goes the bell to end the round, and they're fighting on afterwards. Now, that was quite deliberate on Fenech. Now, he must have a point deducted, I would think, for that, because he'd been stopped once. See. I'll send the invoice to Azumah Nelson later. He can just about afford them. This is the 10th.
You have to wonder what they're telling Nelson in the corner. Again, you know, my unofficial card, I've got Fenech up by 3 points. Again, into Jeff Fenech's potent hands. Jeff Fenech is the younger, stronger man, and this is his game. This is what he likes to do.
You see, I think by lying there, particularly the way they score the fights over here, and you'll know more about this than me, Michael, it makes Fenech look as if he's on top, doesn't it?
Exactly. Perception can be more important than reality in boxing judging, definitely. Nelson definitely gaining no points for having his back to the ropes.
You see, in a round as tight as this, even if Nelson is countering well off those ropes, it will... He's made Nelson work very, very hard all the way. And look, oh! 2 falls in the submission stuff.
a takedown, and Nelson gets up. Keyed in on a major factor. Oh, good shot by Fenech. Nelson looks hurt.
And he's suddenly just a little bit more stiff-legged as well.
I was saying, I think you had keyed in on...
I know that they're in with another great champion. Azumah Nelson from Ghana we reckon, needs the concussive knockout punch here to turn this around. Can he find it in this last round?
Fenech bleeding again about the face. Looks to be from either that.
An Australian making his Las Vegas and American professional debut. And to me, it looks like a winning one, unless Nelson's got something in the tank in the last few seconds. It was always going to be a mountainous task, really, for Azumah Nelson at 32 years of age to take on a man as ferocious and aggressive as this little sawn-off shotgun, Jeff Fenech. He gives him a rough time. In again there, he's shaken up. Nelson here, maybe close to going, but he ends on his feet, and he may not have lasted much more.
Is even a draw.
That is, again, for the second week running in boxing, unbelievable, and look at what Fenech thinks of that. Once again, I said this last week, I cannot believe, really, that those judges could score that contest in that way.